Welcome, everybody, to another awesome episode of One Hops and Road Stops. Hello, Desiree.
Hello.
This is my wife, co-host, best friend. How you doing today?
Doing all right. How are you?
Good, good. I believe the summer's over.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I know nobody else is, but I am.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with it, too, I think. So that means we're going to try a pumpkin beer today.
Yes, we are.
That's right. We're going to try our first pumpkin beer of the season. I already actually tried it secretly. But you wait for this pumpkin beer almost every year because every year it's different. You wait for all the pumpkin beers, actually.
I do.
You're pretty big on them, aren't you?
I love them.
Before we get to that, though, we got a bunch of other stuff to get to. Let's talk about our sponsor, which is Explore Schuylkill. Check out the website, schuylkill.org. In addition to the Port Tour, Schuylkill County is a popular outdoor destination with 3 state parks, 7 campgrounds, the Appalachian Trail, Little Schuylkill River, Sweet Arrow Lake County Park, and Hawk Mountain Sanctuary. There's a bunch of stuff to check out in Schuylkill County. And of course, check out their app for Android and iPhone. And on that app, it lists all the breweries, wineries, distilleries, and more on the various trails. And there's a lot. Like, for instance, Des, Bright Path. Now, Bright Path in Jim Thorpe focuses on flavorful lagers and low ABV session beers. Little bit different than the norm for what I like to go for. You know, I like the big beers, the big IPAs and stuff. I wanted to give a little shout out again to Bright Path because they're dog friendly, Des.
Ooh.
Customers are welcome to bring well-behaved dogs, that is. So
That leaves us out.
that leaves our dogs out. Check them out, 1215 North Street in Jim Thorpe. We haven't been down there since the last episode we did, but we're going to make a trip down there in the fall sometime. I promise, guys. So let's get on to booze news. There's something really exciting for people who like rye whiskey, like your brother.
Yes.
He's going to be excited about this. Jack Daniel's releases a new rye whiskey as part of their Bonded series. It's distilled and handcrafted American white oak barrels. It's charcoal mellowed before going into barrels to mature after being distilled from a mash that contains 70% rye, 18% corn, and 12% malted barley. So now the next question is, do you know the difference between Scotch and rye and bourbon?
No.
Either do I, because that's not what we do.
No, and I'm not a huge fan of any of that, so.
I'm starting to actually get a feel for it. I got a taste for it more recently. I'm starting to drink a little bit more. I still have no idea, though, so.
I don't know.
I looked it up, and I'm going to let you know. This is not from my head. This is from various sources on the internet. I'm not that smart. Scotch is whiskey, spelled with no E, that gets its distinctive smoky flavor from the process in which it's made. The grain, primarily barley, is malted and then heated over a peat fire. Now, Des, a whiskey cannot be called Scotch unless it's entirely produced and bottled in Scotland. Now, bourbon is whiskey spelled with an E. First produced in Kentucky, uses at least 51% mash from corn in its production. U.S. regulations specify that in order for a whiskey to be called a bourbon, it must be made in the United States. And finally, what started this conversation, rye whiskey. Rye whiskey is a whiskey that uses rye mash. In the United States, regulations stipulate the mash must be at least 51% rye in order for it to be called rye whiskey. Now, flavor-wise, Scotch is more smoky, bourbon is sweeter, and rye has a spicy flavor sometimes described as having black pepper or a clove-like taste.
Ooh.
So when we come back, we're going to educate you on some wine because it's going to be time for wine. We have a bottle of wine that I purchased from Smoky Hall Winery when I was down there a couple episodes ago. It is their dog wine, and I felt bad that you didn't get to try it. I tried it while I was there. So I brought a bottle home for you. And we're going to try it on the next segment. So don't go away. There's more One Ups and Road Stops coming up after this. Welcome back to Wine Hops and Road Stops. If you like what we do, of course, facebook.com/Wine Hops and Road Stops. Best way to get in touch with us. Join our little club we have, our group. Talk about what you like, what you don't like. Weird beer names, I know was a popular one the other day. Check it out, and that's the best way to get in touch with us. And of course, our YouTube page where you could see every show we've ever done, except for the Lost show, which I may put up. I was thinking about that the other day. Yeah, and there's a Lost episode about our dogs. It was right. We shot it right before our beautiful Pansy passed away. So we just canned that episode. We never, but it's finished. It's a complete episode. So maybe in honor of her and every dog that has passed, we should put it up.
Wow.
I think it's time. It's been a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to happiness. Let's talk about the Hazleton Rotary Wine and Beer Festival. You went to it and I didn't.
Yeah, you had some other big boy things to do.
Yeah, I was playing Weekend Rockstar, and unfortunately, my band did not play the beer festival this year for the first time in like 10 years. Unfortunately, we had something booked beforehand. It's unfortunate, but there were two really good bands there. There was Guilty Pleasure and there was You. Mm-hmm. One of the stops was, of course, the beer stop, and they had new beers every hour, but they also lined up what? What did they do for you?
Oh, that was my first stop. Yeah. I went right there, and he must remember that I love pumpkin beers because he lined up 5 different ones for me right off the bat.
Yeah.
There was a pumpkin cider.
Ooh.
That was
good.
That was good. Oh, yeah, so I like to get my pumpkin beers in at Beer Fest if I can, my first one of the year, and I did.
Now, there was good weather.
Beautiful.
Yeah. There was a lot of tricky trays. You didn't win anything.
I think this is the first year that I didn't.
Lots of food. My favorite thing, though, that I saw a video of was you and the beer puppeteer. Explain to me what this thing is.
Okay, first of all, I was terrified just at the mention of beer puppeteer because I don't enjoy such...
Like puppets.
Yes.
You don't like
puppets?
No,
I don't like this. Well, you become the puppet in this little contraption. It's this contraption they put over you, and you have strings, and you hang your little beer in the middle, and you have to get it to your mouth and take a drink, but just by pulling your own strings without spilling it all over yourself, which is the easiest thing to do. But that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you did pretty good. You did okay. You did okay.
I did all right.
There's some other people who tried, but we have to show the video of you because, of course.
Anything for good TV.
That's right. That's my wife there. Anything for good TV. So, let's move on. Oh, these are nice glasses. Look at that. Fall glasses.
That's right. I'm ready.
Now, like I was saying before in the last segment, Buck Dog Wine, this is Bucky, Smoky Hall Winery. I bought a bottle because I really like this wine, and it was a shame that you couldn't come with me. So,
and you know I love white, so
let's try this out. Here you go.
I'm excited.
This is a sweet, refreshing white wine named after their dog.
We've done that.
Yeah, we did. Yes, when we made wine a few times, and the first one I ever made was Pansy's Pinot, and then we made a dog. What was it called? White Dog.
White Dog White.
White Dog White, which was, if I still have the graphic, I'll put it up there. It was over the winter a white wine and had our Lucy and Pansy on it.
Just loose. Oh
no, Pansy was in the background. She was in the background because we are dog lovers. So yeah, we have named our home brews after our dogs. And speaking of that, we need to make beer again.
Yes.
All right, there's your wine. Let's try this out.
Okay.
This is Buck Dog.
That's my kind of wine.
What do you think?
Yep.
Smoky Hollow, we love you.
Yep.
I got a feeling that this bottle's not going to last through the night.
I don't think so.
Nope.
This is perfect.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's sweet, but it's a little dry. What do you call it? The finish?
Yeah, I do call it the finish. Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah, this is good.
It was my favorite wine. Out of those 15 wines I tried, this was my favorite. So there you go. A little bonus for our friends at Smoky Hollow. There it is. Their hours are changing for the fall, I believe, but you can still get down there and you can get yourself a bottle and try it out. And try out their other ones too. Like I said, they have, I don't know how many I tried that day, but...
Oh, your job is so hard. I had to drink 15 wines and leave my wife at home.
This is a really good wine. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, it really is good.
Here, have some more.
Okay.
Yeah, come on. There you go. There's a little splash. A little more for you. A Don't hold it like a barbarian. Come on. All right, guys. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with a new segment we have here called What's in Our Fridge? Because we don't really have any beer to showcase this week. So we're just like, you know what? Let's dig out some stuff from our fridge. Random stuff. And show you what we got and review it. So we'll be right back with more One Hops and Road Stops after this. Welcome back to Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. It's time for What's in Our Fridge. And what's in our fridge is Yuengling Light Lager, Dogfish Head Pumpkin Ale, and this last one is Replenish IPA from New Trail. Neat little story about this too. Now, we're going to start with the pride of Schuylkill County, Yuengling Light Lager. Now, I don't think we ever did light lager on the show. We did Flight when it first came out. I remember that. But I thought it'd be interesting at least to compare light lager with Flight because they're both very similar beers. They're both for like the light beer drinker, but they are different. And you'll be surprised the difference between these two. Light lager is a light lager, hence the name. Its ABV is 4%, 99 calories, 3.2 grams of carbs, and 15 IBUs. Now, Flight, which we actually don't have here with us, that ABV is 4.2. It's actually higher than Yuengling Lager Light by 2.2%.
Okay.
It's less calories, 95, 2.6 grams of carbs, and 5 IBUs. Doesn't mean there's no bitterness at all to it. If you get freaked out by the bitterness of this light lager, which is 15, then these two are going to just drive you nuts. I'll tell you that right now. So without going any further into the nonsense we just did, let's drink this. I had this the other night. I cracked one open. That's what made me think of it.
This is just my go-to. Got to keep it in the fridge just to have around. It's just a good one just for old time.
And your dad likes it.
And yes, got to keep it here for Dad when he comes
Come
home.
on.
I know.
Don't beat around the bush. That's why we're here. That's why it's here. Dad likes it. And that's fine. So this is light lager. So this should taste like lager, but light.
Yes.
Let's try it. 99 calories. It is so drinkable, though.
It is.
It really is.
And it tastes like lager. It is just, it does feel lighter. It really does.
Tastes like lager with a less heavy aftertaste.
Yeah.
You still get that potable water finish, which I like to call it. I really believe that's because of the malt, because every Yuengling product has that same finish to it. You still get that. But I would go with this. If I remember Flight correctly, this has more flavor to it.
Yeah.
I would go with this before I'd go and have Flight. So, Flight's 95 calories. This is 99. Big deal, right?
This tastes better. I don't know.
Yeah, it does.
And this also brings back like memories as soon as you drink it of every campfire and
Right. And if lager's a little too heavy for you,
this is a good choice.
it's a good choice. It is. And it's the end of the summer. It's still kind of hot out, so this will be good, you know.
Before you start getting into the heavier beers,
Right,
this is
like the
good
next
for
one.
when it's still hot outside. And it is kind of still hot out.
Now, next up is Dogfish Head Pumpkin Ale. I know. You really, really enjoy this part of the show.
I do.
Now, we've been drinking pumpkin ale forever. The Dogfish one, we had a case of it at our wedding, I believe, didn't we?
We did.
We did.
We did.
Thanks to Uncle Jim.
Uncle Jim, yeah. And it was almost a year old at that point, and it was delicious.
Yeah. So
And it did not last the night.
Oh God, it didn't last like even half the reception. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. The fact that he bought that. I'm not going to say where he went to because that guy doesn't advertise with us.
No,
but
he should.
He should. Anyway, Uncle Jim went there and got us a case, and like it was like, here it's been sitting here for a year, but it was sitting in like the proper environment that when we cracked it open, it It was good. It had a great taste to it. Mm-hmm. You know, because some people say, oh, you can't age a beer like that. You can.
You can. It was delicious.
And our wedding reception was proof you can. So let's take a look at this now. Every year, I personally believe Dogfish Head changes their recipe.
I believe that.
And
I don't think it's ever the same.
And ever since they were bought out or merged with Sam Adams, I don't know, I'll just say it's been iffy. So let's see what you see. You are the pumpkin beer connoisseur, so...
Okay. Well, there's some variables here. Now, I do believe that they changed their recipe, and I feel like the last few years, it was a little bit weak on the pumpkin.
More on the spice, right?
And I like the spice, but it wasn't very pumpkin-ish. It was more of just an ale flavor. Yeah, spicy ale.
Spicy ale. Which would be a different thing.
It does smell pretty good this year.
Okay, let's try it.
All right. Not bad. Not bad. Better than the last few years, I'd have to say. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the pumpkin crop.
It probably does.
I think it must.
Well, if Sam Calgione is watching the show, he could call us. We'll do an interview and he could tell us all about it.
That would be pretty cool because I'd like to know.
Yeah,
what makes it different all the time.
Every year. It's not bad though. I'm gonna have some more.
I approve.
It's not as good as Reception Pumpkin Ale.
Have some more and you pour yourself.
Yeah, well, you're not done with that. That's what. Now put it down.
What are you talking about? I'm not done with it.
Now put it down, and we'll pour it for you. Here you go, sweetie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I love the design on the can changes every year. I almost wish we had kept one every year. Mm-hmm. I think we may have to start doing that.
I think Dogfish Head's doing that a lot now. They're changing their artwork a lot.
This is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. There's been some cool ones, absolutely. I think I take a picture of them every year, so we'll have to look for that.
Look them up.
Okay. Yeah.
So you approving the pumpkin ale?
I'm approving of it. It's not too bitter this year, a little bit.
Full-bodied brown ale, smooth hints of pumpkin, brown sugar, and spice.
Yeah.
7% ABV.
Yeah.
And finally, we have Replenish IPA from New Trail. This is a West Coast IPA, notes of sticky pine and deep citrus.
I've never had this.
It's a good one. Interesting thing about this one is $1 from every case sold, and the equivalent in draft will go directly to planting new trees. It will clean the air and water for future generations of people and wildlife. The funds go to the Pennsylvania Parks and Forests Foundation. So,
I like that.
Yeah, so you're doing something good by drinking Replenish. Now, this is a West Coast IPA, so you should like it. It's not hazy, because we've had enough of the hazy beers. I'm not saying they're bad, it's just I like once in a while to have, like, remember what I was saying to you the other night? I'm like, I just want an IPA that just looks like an IPA. Yeah. Doesn't look like a creamsicle. You know, this is what I want. Let's try it out.
Yeah.
It's like an IPA like you remember, huh?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah. Nice West Coast IPA. 7.5, so it's not a small beer. It's not huge, but it's big enough. It's not a session.
Not terribly bitter.
No, I like it. So there's the beers that were sitting in our fridge. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with a little bit more Wine Hops and Road Stops. Don't go away. Welcome back to the last segment of Wine Hops and Road Stops. Facebook.com/Wine Hops and Road Stops is our Facebook page. Check it out. Join the group, and the world will be wonderful. Now, something we've been doing for the last couple episodes is we've been talking about like barroom etiquette and like bartender terms and stuff like that. I found something online, and I added a few things to it called bartender language. Basically, what you say to a bartender versus what the bartender actually hears.
Is this like that game we used to play at like sleepover parties when we were like 10, where somebody would say something and then you whisper to the next person and see what comes out of the other end?
No. Kind of. Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Is that what you used to do at sleepovers? We used to steal booze from the basement and almost get arrested running through Partysville at night. And
Egging certain girls.
I did not egg your house. That was not me.
Not my house, me.
Oh, I didn't egg you either. That was Louie. Wasn't it? It was Louie. Louie! Come on! Did he ever apologize?
No.
I think he
Louie. Why would he?
He wanted to apologize that night we ran into you at the Buzzard, and he couldn't believe me and you were engaged.
How about it? And now we're married.
Yes. All right, so let's talk about bartender language.
Tell me.
So what you say versus what the bartender hears. Make it strong. What the bartender hears is, you don't want to order a double, but you want us to pour extra for free.
Oh.
When you say, easy on the ice or no ice, you think this will give you more booze. Not true. When you say, I know the owner, that means you want free drinks. But the bartender's going to say, I also know the owner. This guarantees you nothing. And of course the last one, when you say, I forgot my ID in my car, other pants, my mom's basement, whatever, the bartender hears you saying, I'm not old enough to buy alcohol, but I'm going to try anyway. So there you go. There's some bartender language. If you're a bartender, drop us a line. Give us some of your crazy, wild stories. I got to talk to my sister about this too, because she was a bartender for a long time. And she has some awesome stories. Maybe she'll just hand a few stories over to us.
That'll be good.
And before we go, we got to say hello to our other sponsor, the Jackass Distillery. We love them. They're doing great. And they have another drink of the week, which is on the screen right now. And you can check that out, of course, weekly on our Facebook page and in our Facebook group. They're doing wonderful things. They're always making new products. Check them out. Great moonshine. And while you're at it, check out Explore Schuylkill and Schuylkill.org. Check out their app for Android and iPhone. Big list of places you could go on their pour tour. All right, that's it. So, life's too short to drink a bad beer. So drink a good beer. Drink with somebody you love. See you next time on Wine, Hops, and Stops.
Somebody saved me.